Till in 2015 a man in southeast Texas ignored a sign that read, "No swimming, alligators," and jumped in, yelling "Fuck that alligator." He was subsequently attacked and mortally wounded by an alligator. He probably thought the sign was for the alligators. Maybe he misread it as non-swimming alligators and thought the safest place to be would be the water considering they couldn't swim. One of my college classmates ignored the warnings about a violent river in Namibia and was promptly smashed up dead against rocks, due to the speed of the current. The alligator, excuse me. I gather the alligator didn't want to get fucked. What are you gonna do, stab me? Man who was stabbed. Florida man has met his match, happened in my town. His girlfriend jumped in to save him. That is an impressive woman. In high school I knew a guy who ate of those silica packets that keep stuff dry, just because it says do not eat on it. He didn't die or anything, but he did regret it. Not enough to keep doing things like that though. That's who I think of when I read things like that. Always funny when Florida man visits other states. Florida man would have survived. I went to his Facebook page right after the news broke and was terribly sad afterward. He fucked up big time, but he was a person with a family and friends. I know everybody laughs, but imagine his death. His last seconds must been full of terror and fear. Yes, he was dumb, but still I don't wish that on any innocent person. R.I.P. Dan. Southeast Texas is the Florida of Texas. At least it was consensual. Damn. Could you imagine if he was immortally wounded? That'd be crazy. https://www. BuzzFeed.com/Galianapola/Fuck That Gator. https://www. BuzzFeed.com/Galianapola/Fuck That Gator. The alligator. And I took that personally. What are you gonna do, alligator me? Quote from man alligatored. Ha. If alive today he'd be yelling, "Fuck that mask." The only difference is he'd take down other people. This is basically the Herman Cain story. /r/leopard/sidmaface. They eat alligators down there. You can order alligator in a restaurant. E.g. I'd like an alligator sandwich please. And make it snappy. The only thing that surprises me is that this wasn't a Florida man. That alligator broke the rules. It said right on the sign, "No swimming, alligators." Darwinism working as designed. Fun fact, hunters killed the alligator a couple of days later because of course they did. Gotta love punishing an animal for doing what the animal does, in the animal's habitat. Yep. They used to let you feed the gators there before this edoid fucked it up. Also, how come nothing good news-wise comes out of Orange? Like there has to be some good left there, right? I don't look like a deer. https://www. USA Today. com/story/news/nation/2020/05/07/ South Carolina woman killed alligator while doing client's nails /3087316001/ Poor guy. Never had a chance to say, "See you later, alligator." Yep, grew up where that happened. Never trust any body of water in SETX. There is always a gator. Sounds like something from /r/Floridaman. I live in Orange. I can believe this. Yep, sounds like East Texas to me. Reminds me of all those times people ignore signs. Sounds like the problem solved itself. That picture of him reminds me of all Simpsons bits where the picture of Homer the news uses when doing a story on him are always the worst possible photo based on the story. We're very big on our stupid too here in Texas. Florida man, pathetic. Partying face Florida man off the hook. That's precisely how I imagined he looked. Sounds like the type of person that wouldn't follow CDC guidelines during a pandemic. This some r/Darwin Awards type shit. And remember, early voting starts tomorrow in Texas, but not for this guy. This guy isn't voting. This is what happens when you got far too much testosterone for your own good. Why is mortally wounded substituted for killed in headlines? The latter is clearer and simpler. In the 2 years I spent across Louisiana and SE Texas, I have never seen so many missing limbs outside of Cambodia. No shit. And I'd say only about 1/3 of them were from oil rigs, the rest were along the lines of, well, we used to go try to touch the nose on the gator in our old swimmin' hole. Narrator voice. Little did he know that the alligator would be doing the fucking. Okay. No lie, I sorta knew him. We all called him Cowboy because of that stupid hat he never took off. He used to buy drugs from several of my neighbors and was always around. He struck up a conversation with my husband and I while waiting for one of the neighbors to return one day, and I asked him and this lady Vicky why they were all wet. They said they just went swimming. Not being from Texas and not knowing of any swimming area, I asked where you can swim at nearby. They told me the bayou that was just down the road. I asked about the alligators, but they swore it was fine and that the gators won't bother you if you don't bother them. They invited me to swim with them. Needless to say, I declined. 3 days later he was eaten by the gator. A couple other neighbors went out and killed the gator they thought did it. Side note, he had an identical twin that lived in another state. Imagine the shock of looking out the living room window and seeing Cowboy walking by just days after the gator ate him. As a Texan, I am amused by this. This is a very Texan thing to do, especially in rural parts where my roots are. Well, did he fuck the alligator? I was down there for work at one point, I believe it is somewhere off of Adams Bayou, and was told by someone who would know such things that everyone knew this alligator was there and had for a long period of time. Kind of like a bar mascot. The patron was just too drunk to think clearly, I suppose. The way it was explained to me, no one was surprised the alligator was there, including the man. Perhaps the guy was just telling a story, but he did not seem to be one to embellish things. So hard, hearing stories like this. One less vote for Trump. When I grew up in Florida, our lawn worker was eaten by an alligator. He wanted to swim in the pond behind our house and we kept yelling no. Alligator, and he didn't listen. I mean, it's literally their habitat, dude. How long from now before people learn about the president who downplayed a pandemic, and eventually got stricken with the virus? As many citizens were dying from the virus, the president received priceless, first-class medical treatment, and survived. Subsequently, he continued to downplay the pandemic. R/Texas man. Gator ain't about no shit, gator ain't never been about no shit. You are not the Florida man, do not the alligator. But how was he supposed to know there were alligators in that pond? The sign said the alligators aren't allowed to swim. $5 on that guy immigrating from Florida. If you're going to be dumb, you gotta be tough. This guy fucks up. You sure he's not from Florida? What's the difference between mortally wounded and being killed by? What did we learn? What are you gonna do? Shoot me? Some guy, 3 seconds before he was shot. Reincarnation of Jason Mendoza. And all was right in the world. Was he in Florida? Was he related to people in Florida? Is East Texas just like really West Florida? Alligator, no, I insist, fuck you, Darwin like that. Texas man, Florida man's dumber redneckier cousin. Maybe the sign didn't have punctuation marks. He thought he found a river with no alligators. Earlier this year, a woman in Charleston, South Carolina actually died in an even crazier story. She showed up to her rich lady client's house to do her nails during quarantine and was visibly drunk upon exiting her vehicle. She saw a gator and started walking toward it to touch it. The client yelled out, warning her that the gator had caught and killed a deer the week before. The woman responded, "Do I look like a deer to you?" and was then promptly grabbed and pulled underwater by the gator. The woman actually managed to somehow get free and was stumbling back to shore before she stopped to say, "I won't do that again," and then gator returned and pulled her under again. Deputies ended up showing up and shot the gator, but the woman still didn't make it. https://abcnews4 com/news/local/woman killed Kiowa Island, South Carolina, alligator attack, tried touch, lost grip, rope rescue attempt, https://ABC News 4. com/news/local/woman killed Kiowa Island, South Carolina, alligator attack, tried touch, lost grip, rope rescue attempt.